Hello everybody and welcome to the Artisan of Glimmith. Today is the 18th of March 2026. The game released yesterday and I played through the demo back in December and it was really fun. And in general I have really enjoyed all of Lunark Studios' previous games. So I'm excited to play through this one as well. Now I'm gonna actually start from the beginning. I think the demo progress carries through, but we're going to play from the beginning. So let's get into it. 52 solved. Actually, let's start a new save altogether. Right, so in the demo we saw the starting area. I feel it's a little bit laggy, but if I start dropping frames I might change the settings. It's only laggy when I move, but that might just be the, you know. So in this game we can explore from this sort of disembodied perspective. And it would seem that, as we will see in a moment here, for those of you who did not see the demo, we got an invite. Dearest esteemed Artisan, thank you for accepting my invitation to restore the artworks of Glimmith. On that point, I have only one request. When shaping each piece of glass, you must follow the rules very closely. It's interesting that these shapes here are not at 90-degree angles. I care only about the shapes. Let your creativity run free with the colors. Yours truly, Evie. Elias Students. So it would seem that we arrived to, I guess, Glimmith? Artworks of Glimmith. So we've arrived to Glimmith in this airship, it would seem. There's a gem on this motor rotor thingy. And there are also hidden puzzles in the environment, as we will see soon. And by hidden I mean like you have to move around the perspective to find it. Click and drag. All regions must be this shape. I don't like how loud it is. All regions must be this shape. I'm not gonna spend as much time on the opening puzzles as I did in the demo. You can choose colors freely. Mirror reflections are also acceptable. This has to be like that, because if it's on its side, then this will be impossible. Now it blocks this. Same applies here and here. Drag from corners. Oh yeah, the dotted line approach to mark edges. And then we have these restoration progress windows. So we can do this sort of thing. So this clearly cannot go this way. Neither can it go that way. So it has to... Wait, what? Huh? I'm confused. Restart. What am I not seeing? What does... Oh, right. It's like this. Sorry. Okay. Drag the camera around to find secret puzzles. So, this, whatever it is, it has two options. Because this can either move to the right or to the or south. And afterwards, either way, it has to connect to here, which means either way, it's going to block off this area. If it goes like this, it blocks it off with 4, which is no good. Oh wait, no, there's another option. It can be these two. Right. So the point is that if we actually connect it to here, then it will either connect like this, in which case it leaves 4, which is no good. And if it connects like this, it will leave 5, which is also no good. So it simply cannot connect to this, which means it must be like this. And now, this can only be like this, and that completes the puzzle. And it completes, almost completes the window. We see an unlocked puzzle down here. So this is a 3x3 with the center and one of the corners missing. Now, the missing corner cannot be in here because every square, every tile on the board has to belong to this shape. So the missing corner in here is either here or here, which means this is all this color. And now the same logic applies here, which means that this has to connect here, and this has to connect like this. And that completes the puzzle. We're getting bombarded by achievements. Guild your first window is completed. Nice. Oh, and there's something here, a message. Dearest Artisan, I hope this letter finds you in the best of spirits and creative fervor. There's much work to be done. These window frames show your restoration progress. Each glasswork you restore contributes to a window. Okay, so the puzzle boards are glassworks. Complete windows to progress onward. Yours truly, EV. Very well. Switch colors quickly with 1 to 9 or scroll wheel. Except once I scroll wheel, I can't go back to random. Okay. This has to come out. This now can only do this, this, and this. Use tab to switch border drawing and note-taking. Oh, I see. Right now, in this mode, I cannot do that. In this mode, I can only do this. the edge stuff. Here I can draw and clear with C, but C works even if I'm not in that mode. And here we can see all the controls. Paint bucket. Shift click. Shift click outline shape. Oh yeah, that's when we're like this. Oh no, that's the shape outline, right? I remember now. Okay. So let's start here. This has to be like this, and that completes the puzzle. And here, okay, this cannot go up. Or wait, maybe it can. No, it can't. Because if this goes up, then this breaks, because this is not possible, and this is not possible because of what it does here with this shape. Like this tile. Like this would have to be like this or like this, and both are not possible. So this has to come out this way. And that should now complete the puzzle. Actually, we could have started here. Because this can only be this. And that completes the puzzle. Kind of. Oh yeah, similar. Okay. So, shift click or middle click to place metal borders around an entire shape. Oh, so middle click works too, I see. And you can undo with just a Z or backspace. Okay. Right, so any cul-de-sac has to come out at least 3. Now this has to complete itself here, because this tile needs to belong to something. This tile belongs to this. We can now use Q here. This has to come down, as does this, which makes this like that, and these like this. The camera cannot be rotated. Okay. So this is due to this border here, we have to have a 3x3 in this column. Because if we do a 2x2, then yeah, so this has to be a 3x3. Now, this cannot be the edge of a 3x3 because the corner would break. Which means, and it's true in both directions, so neither of these is possible. So that leaves only one option, which is this. And now that should complete the puzzle. And because it's symmetrical, the inverse is true too, and there we go. Borders must always separate 2 different regions. Well, here, this can only be this shape. And then we get this. And over here, because these are 2 different shapes, neither of those shapes, like this, cannot belong to the large 4x4 with the center cut out, and neither can this, so both of them have to be a 2x2. And they both have to come out this way at least, and then they can either be like this or the other way, but they can't go down because this shape that they leave here is impossible, so it has to be like this. And there's a puzzle under this little construction here. Okay, this cannot be that, so it must be this. This cannot go this way. So it has to do this. And now it cannot be this, so it has to be this. This cannot be this, so it has to be this. And that completes the puzzle. We're working on this window. This shape is contained within that, so from every edge we have to do that. And now, oh, this has to close. These all close. This, if it comes down, it breaks, so we have to do this. So the additional rule did nothing in this puzzle. I wonder if it's possible to have a puzzle where the additional rule... I mean, in this puzzle, all that the additional rule did was that it made us not immediately close this. So it's possible for the additional rules to slow down our logic progression or to obstruct certain logical steps without them ever actually being representing an actual shape on the board, I guess. So I guess they can still make the puzzle more interesting without actually being directly used on the board. And yeah, the previous puzzle told us that the puzzles all have a unique solution. Oh wait, sorry. Did the... I was gonna say, did the extra rule enforce the unique solution, or... No, because it's still unique without it, right? Like, this is... Even if it just gives us the 2x1, or 1x2, only, we would still have this exact unique solution. I believe. Yeah. Puzzles can always be solved with logic. Guessing is never required. So this has to come out, this has to come out, they have to be the same. Same idea here. That's not necessarily true. There we go. So in this one, the opposite was never used. Though it did make our progression easier in a sense, because we knew that every cul-de-sac has to come out due to this, but this could also... yeah, I think it's still the same unique solution even with the other one. And there's one more puzzle somewhere. It might be hidden. Yeah, there. I see the little thing floating. Oh, what was that sound? I see the floating stuff. There it is. Difficulty 4. All regions must be one of these shapes. So, similar to earlier, every cul-de-sac has to come out at least 3. So we can start with that. we can have 5 long. That completes this. Okay. New message. Respected. Wait, respected artisan. What sort of artisan were we before? Dearest? Dearest esteemed. Okay, so we were dearest esteemed, then we were dearest, and now we're respected. Interesting. Respected artisan, the areas ahead contain a vast collection of glasswork designs, but fear not, you need only complete a fraction of them to restore the windows. If ambition beckons, complete more glassworks to metallicize the frames and reveal extra challenges. If you thoroughly master an area, its frame will become gilded. Yours truly, Elias Vitimus. Okay, here there's a fork, so let's go in the other direction. And this is where in the demo there used to be a large appetizing area where they showed off various different rules. But that's gone now. We also have access to another message. But let's read that when we get there, I suppose. So let's head in this direction first because there's no fork in the road here. Rose windows. Each region contains exactly one of each symbol. Okay. So that means that these are not the same, and this has to come out to collect the other 3 symbols. It could collect here or here, but if it collects up here, this can't go up here because it will kill this, because this actually also has to come out. And now this, they have to be different because they already contain blue. This has to not take that because it already has green, so it takes red here, cannot take blue, it completes itself on yellow here. This comes out, cannot take that. Done. Now here we have 5 areas, and these cannot coexist. It's gonna be like this. You can press Q to flood an entire region. This has to... These will have to coexist. Okay. There we go. There's something I want to check. If I do... Okay, that just does that. So I still have to do this move to connect them. Okay, 3 regions. If these connect, then they die. So they cannot connect. And this has to come this way. And this way. Oops. Remember, a single region can never touch both sides of a border. Which means that this cannot take this. So... And it has to take this blue, but it can't do so from anywhere around this area. So it has to do it from here. So... This has to come out. And as does this. And then this is a third color because it's different from this and it's different from this. And these two are different from each other as well. So that now puts all three colors on the board, corresponding to the three shapes. Now at the same time, we know that this has to come out, and so this now has to be this. And it still has not collected the red, so it has to go down. We know it's not this, and it's not this, so it's here. And now this has to go here. We close this, this has to come out, this has to come out. This can't take that, so it's completed. This comes, this comes, this comes. They are not connected. This goes here, this goes here, and collects that. So this can't go there, it has to come out, and it cannot collect this because it's a different color. This, oops. This has to come out at least this far. And then we know this is not this color. Oh yeah, this still has to come out further. And it cannot pick this up, so it has to go this way, which means this has to pick that up. Okay, we go through the gates here. There's something here. We have 4 symbols, I believe, right? Red, green, yellow, and blue. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Now, each of these areas have to come out. And it still has to pick up a green. So this has to take that. And it's completed. This has to take this, this, and it still needs a red. It can't take from here, so it does that. Cannot connect here or here. This can't connect this way or this way. This has to take that. That, and it still needs a green. This still needs a red, so it has to keep going. It can't take these. This has to go. So this, neither of these can move further. This still needs a yellow. Oops. Can't close the border yet, technically. This now needs to go this way. They can't go this way. This still needs a green. So it has to go there. Now we can close this. And we can close this. Okay. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still needs a yellow. This can technically still belong to this. This will need a red, and it cannot go through this area, so it will have to come through this way, which closes this, and it makes it so that this has to come this way, has to pick this blue up. Done now. This comes out, cannot go this way or this way. We'll need one of these yellows. It cannot take this yellow, because then this doesn't get a blue, so it goes here. This has to come there. This has to come this way. This has to come at least this far to get a blue. And that means this has to come at least here. This has to come at least here. This forces this to come this way. And this has to go here. Now this can only take this blue. Now this yellow, this has to come this way. It forces this here. This yellow still needs blue and red. Has to cut that off. That completes this. Has to come this way. This has to come at least this far. This can only take this. This can only take this. Let's complete this corner here. Okay. So this has to come this way. This has to go here, here. This needs blue and green. It can only collect this green, because if it tries to go for this green, it would need to either visit a second red or a second blue. So this has to take this. Now this blue cannot get yellow. Cannot get this yellow because it would visit another blue, so it has to get this yellow. So it has to belong here, which closes this and this. Now this can't go that way, so it has to go this way, and they still need a red, so they go here. Oops, we can't lock it yet. This goes this way, can only grab that yellow, which completes this, and we're done. Okay. There's 4 symbols. In this puzzle, as soon as all 4 symbols, each area will be of size 4 because the whole board is filled with symbols. So as soon as we have 4, we can close it. This has to pick this up and those, so it's like that. Blue, green can go in either direction. This comes out, forces this, forces this. These don't belong together. That's done. Done. Okay, double rule. So this can only be like that. So every T-shape or whatever these are called in Tetris has to also pick up one of the roses. So this has to come out in this direction because it cannot be this shape. And then it can either go up or down. But we know that it will close this. Same is true here. And this cannot belong to that because it has no way. So this has to be this way. This now must be like this. That forces this, and it forces this. And now the puzzle completes like that. So we're working on this window. What achievement did we just get? By any other name, restore the rose windows window. All regions must be this shape. Okay. So, right. This cannot pick that up because it's too far. Cannot pick this up because it's too far, so this has to pick this up. Once it has gone 3 steps in a direction, it can no longer be horizontal relative to the, longer side, so it has to go 4 in this direction and complete itself like this. This can't go up, so it has to be horizontal. And now this can only pick this up. And this can only pick that up, and the puzzle is complete. All regions must be this shape. this has to come out. It can't go down, it can't go this way, so it has to be like that. This has to be like this has to be like that, because this has to come out as well. This could be like this or like this, so let's look elsewhere. This cannot pick this blue up because it would take this red, so it has to pick this blue up. And the puzzle completes. Oh, I happen to be in the perfect perspective, although this one is quite lenient. You can see it from a lot of places. Alright. So, how many areas exist on this board? Let's count the blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 areas exist. How many have I drawn already? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've drawn 7. So one of the things I've drawn, 2 of the things I've drawn belong to the same area. But because all except for one of the areas I've already drawn contain already 2 symbols, we know that each area contains 3 symbols, so the only area that could belong to one of the other areas I've already drawn is this one. And it must belong to, obviously, one of the ones that does not contain a yellow triangle. So this belongs to either this or to this. Now, if this tries to connect to this, it would have to do so from below these blue squares and above these. But if we do that, do we break the puzzle? Like if these somehow connect, yeah, then down here there are not enough blue shapes. And there's no other way to do it because this cannot go above these blues to connect to that. So that means that this must connect to this. And it must do so without cutting this area off from a blue. So this has to pick up one of these 2 blues. It cannot pick this blue up because then this cannot connect there. So this blue has to connect to this. And this yellow has to connect to this. Now, obviously, this can't come down and connect to the yellow. So it actually has to go around this blue. And this can't cut off the yellow. So it has to come this way. And it has to pick up this blue. Let's change the color on this. Okay, so now this won't connect to any of these things. This has to come out. Now this has to come this way and this way, because it cannot, oops, it cannot connect to this either. This goes, this goes, this goes. So this now is forced to connect to that. This goes, this goes, this goes. Now this has to go. This is completed. Okay, this will have to connect to this, or this to this. But this needs a blue, so it has to go at least this far. So now this is forced to go here. This now can only pick that red. Completed. All regions must be one of these shapes. Okay. To be clear, these are 2 different shapes. And I'm guessing that here we're not gonna have... I guess I mentioned this in the demo as well. We're not gonna have the Witness Swampy Boots situation. If any of you know what that is. In the Witness there... In the witness, the shape rules don't have to be orthogonally connected, so you could have this as a singular shape in the witness. And Swampy Boots is an instance where there's actually a gap of 2 tiles between the parts that are not connected, and it's easy to miss that and think that it's a gap of 1 tile. But in this game, I believe, because of the region rules, the regions obviously have to be orthogonally connected. Like, all tiles of a region must be orthogonally connected to each other. So we're not gonna have that issue here. Okay, so that means that sometimes we can have a 1x1, but we also know that every region contains a rows. So for example, this has to pick up a row somewhere. It can be a 1x1. It can't go horizontal, so it has to go vertical. This has to be a 1x1 because it would have space here to be a 4x1, but it would pick up another rows. Done. Now there are some locked puzzles here. What did it tell us about locked puzzles? When we metallicize the frames, we reveal extra challenges. Now I wonder, is it about metallicizing the frame in this area? Which I guess happens at 20 solves. That would make sense. I just hope it is not the case that one day, somewhere in the future, we metallicize a random frame elsewhere and that unlocks stuff here. I hope it's not like that. I hope always locked puzzles belong to metallicizing the local window. Okay, let's continue. This can pick this up. It cannot pick that up, so it has to go here. Okay. That completes that area. Okay, this red cannot pick this blue up because then this blue can't get a red. Or more, put differently, this has to come out and it has to go this way. Okay, now this red has to take that. This has to expand. Done. This was difficulty 2, but it was quite long. So, if my assumption is true, then after two more solves, we will unlock these, and then if I do all of them, that's how I can gild it to golden. Okay. this still needs red, so it has to go this way. Okay, this has to come this way, and it will have to eventually go here, so it will pick this up. And then they need red, so it has to go here. And it cannot connect, so that area is complete. Blue has to come here, so... let's make this yellow or something and make this green. So this still needs yellow. It can't pick that yellow up, so it has to pick that yellow up. And this can go this way. Okay, one more solve. Here. And here. It cannot connect to either of those. Now this cannot go up because then it will still need to go down anyway, because it, or no, wait, it can because of this. Right. Interesting. Interesting. So this blue takes one of these two yellows. Huh. Where? Oh, wait. It's about the borders. Sorry. It's easy to forget about those. This cannot take that because they're in different areas. And similar to this here, so it has to be like that. And again here, this can't go there, so it has to go here. We still need a yellow. So it's like this. And yeah, so the window got metallicized. So now it has unlocked these. Now there are still 13 more puzzles in this area. There's also a larger looking puzzle, difficulty 6. All regions must be this shape. Okay, so it can't go this way, cannot go this way, cannot go that way. It has to go here, and then it's done. This can only pick that blue up, and then they can still go in either direction. This can only pick this blue up, and it can only do so like this, and it can still take this. This blue could pick up. Wait, this tile has to come out, and then it still needs to get a blue. Can only be this blue, so it has to be like that, which means this has to be like this, and this has to be like this, and these are all complete. This now has to be like this like this. This needs a red, can only do so. It could do it like that, but it would cut that off, so it has to be like this. This red can only take this blue like this, and that completes the puzzle. 2 possible shapes. Okay. So, here, we can't go like that, so we have to go like this at least, and then we can still protrude further if needed. Here we could go like that, or like this. Same here. Okay, this red cannot pick this blue up, so it has to pick that blue up. And it cannot do so. It has to also pick all of these 3 up, because these 3 need both red and blue as a part of them. I guess that's actually, I just realized that this is true of all the edges here. They always have to be the same 3. because anything else would cut one of them off. Yeah, the only option would be if, for example, if this was a tile, then we could actually have two of these shapes, but nowhere in the board is that the case. So the edges in here always have to be the same, belong to the same. Now this has to take this red, and then of course they have to do this at least, all of them. And now this needs a blue, so it's like that. And these have to belong to the same shape. But they also have to pick this tile up, so it has to be like this. One of these shapes. Okay, this has to be a 2x2. It can't be a 1x3. So it's like that. This can only be like this. This can belong to one of these two. This has to be like this. This must have a red like that. Same here. This could take this red. Let's look at instead of this. It must be like this. This could take either of these reds. This can only take this red, but it can do so in two different ways. Okay, this has to be extending up. Right, so it's about this one. This either extends horizontally or vertically into a 1x3, but it can't do so vertically because it destroys or it breaks this tile, so it has to come this way. Now this tile can still be one of two options. Okay, this tile. I can see that this tile cannot be part of a 2x2 because like this tile breaks, and like this tile breaks. So this tile has to be part of a 3x1, 1x3, and it cannot do so in this direction, so it has to do so in this direction. So now this tile needs a 2x2. This needs this. This needs this. Okay, 4 symbols. And the whole board is symbols, so again, each region is only of size 4. I don't see the same symbol neighboring anywhere, so we have to start with different logic. Let's start by asking, what blue does this pick up? It's only a region of size 4. The only blue within range of 4 is this one. And along the way, it also needs to pick up a yellow and a red. So it has to pick up this red, because if it picks this red, it can't reach the blue. So these are the same area. And now they go in one of two directions, but they cannot pick any of these up. Now this cannot pick this yellow up, because if it does, first of all, it can't reach a blue, and second of all, it would have to go through a yellow to pick up the blue anyway. So that means that this yellow must belong to these. Okay. This can only reach this blue. And it cannot pick this yellow up, therefore, because it would have to do that shape. So it has to go through here, and then it picks up one of these two, but can't pick these, so this has to go here. This can go this way or this way. This needs a yellow, and it can only be this yellow. And it can't pick this blue up because then it will be trapped, so these are not the same area. And they have to go here. Now this red will need this yellow, and therefore it cannot pick that blue up. So that blue needs to go here. We have to do this. This has to go here. And we're done. Okay. These are not the same area. There are only 2 regions on this board, and so this is one color and this is the other. And this can't be the yellow, or can it? Wait. I'm a bit confused. Like, because I'm wondering if I can just do this or not. I think I can, because if I don't, like, let's say I only do it this far and here I claim this is blue. If this is yellow, it actually can't connect to the yellow anymore. Actually, it would be better to do it here. Like this. Because now whatever goes up here, like let's say blue goes here, then this all has to be yellow. And if yellow goes here, then this all has to be... No, see? This can't go up here. Because once it goes up here, this becomes blue. And once this is blue, this can't get out. So this cannot go up there. So it has to be locked. And because there are only 2 areas on the board, this has to happen, this has to happen. And now these are all borders, so this has to pick those up. Has to pick this up as well. Once it picks that up, this has to come out, so this has to come out. And now this cannot pick this up, so this has to be this color, and this still needs a blue. Can only pick that up here. This will have to come, it can't take that. This to come up. This has to come this way, so now this has to collect all of these. This has to come out at least this far, same for this. This is a different color. There are, on this board again, only 2 regions. So this now has to be all of these. And these as well. So this has to come out, it cannot pick these up. And this has to take this red. And so this has to take... No, sorry. This has to take this red. This red has to belong to these, so it has to come out at least this far. It cannot cut this off, because if it cuts this off, it will still have to cut that off, and then it doesn't work, so this has to come down. Actually, I prefer this shade of purple. And so this has to go here and connect here, and now this purple has to pick up the rest here. Again, only 2 regions. So this comes out, this comes out, this comes out, this comes out. This has to be here a different color, so that has to pick that up. Same is true here. Okay, this will need a green. If it wants to take this green, it can. If it wants to take this green, I think it also can. Oh, these two are the same color, I think. Yeah, if this tries to be the same color as that, the puzzle breaks, because then this cannot connect to this. So this... yeah, this is different from this. So let's say this is red and this is purple. If these two are different, then this is the same as this. And then this is the same as this. And now it means this cannot be purple, so it has to be red. And it also means this also cannot be purple, so it also has to be red. Which makes this purple. And then this also can be purple. So this just has to do this. And then it has to... yeah, so... the whole edge here has to all be purple. Because if any of it was red, it would split the purple into two purple regions. So this has to all be like this. This needs still a red and a blue. It has to be this red. So this red has to come out this way. And has to go this way. This yellow needs to connect to the purple and this green as well. Again, only two regions. And two greens here, two reds here. And the thing is that we have this situation. And what that means is, I believe it means this cannot be yellow, because if it was, we get the same issue again. So it has to be red. And that means this has to be... let's make the yellow blue instead. So it has to be like this. And so now all of these have to be like this, and all of these have to be like this. Which means this green has to be red. And this red has to be blue. So this is red. That's blue. And it has to come this way, and then it can't go down because that has to be red, so it has to connect here. And then this yellow has to be blue, and this green has to be red. And this is a different color from blue, so it's red. Okay, each of these things have to come out. And okay, this blue needs a red. It can only connect collect this red, so these are the same color. And they still need a yellow, which will be this. So they also have to collect that. This needs a red and a yellow. And this is a different color, so it has to be that. And oops. Close here. This has to come out. Cannot collect that. Going here, it will have to go there because this one can't. But it still needs to seek out. Okay, this also has to grab this. This now is forced to go here. And I have broken the puzzle. Why? Oh no. I haven't, because these can be the same region. And this can't move further, actually. So this has to do the rest, and this can't pick up this, so this has to expand at least this far. Done. Okay. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what about that? That doesn't contribute to the window? Ooh, 5th color? Nice. Okay. So this needs all 5 colors. It has 1. It can't go out this way, so it will have to go out this way. And it still needs a red and a green. There are 4 regions. Nice music. So this green cannot grab that purple or that blue. Which means it could take one of these 2 blues. I don't think it can get to this area, right? Yeah, it cannot. So it's either this blue or this blue belongs to this green. But that doesn't really help us. What am I missing here? I'm not sure. Something with the borders? Ah, wait, sorry. I wasn't paying attention. We can't go this way, so we can't pick this red up because we would need to go through this red to get a green. So, and these are different regions, so this has to expand, this has to expand, and they're different regions. Okay, this still needs a green, and it cannot be this green, so it must be this green because it can't go through any of the other symbols. Okay. Now this still needs yellow and green. And it has to be this yellow and this green. But, or no. It cannot be this green. It has to be this yellow because we can't go through the blue or through the green or through the red. So we have to go through this yellow. And we can only do so through this direction. And so we do not belong to these or to that or to this. We also now can't pick this up, so this has to go this way. This now has to go this way. We cut that off. It could actually collect either of these greens, but this has to go, 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 go. Cannot grab that anymore. Okay. This has to expand. This now needs still a green. So it has to be this green. This has to go. And it needs these, so this is the same area. That has to grab this, and this has to grab that. Done. There are 4 regions. We already... Can these two belong to the same? Maybe. So this can't grab either of these 2 reds. Which means what? Means that it either needs to grab this or this. But if it wants to grab this, it can't do so from down here because it would cut off this region. Or more precisely, it would cut off these 2. Like if this tries to collect the red through this area, it would cut off those 2. So it would have to go all the way around the edge. And is there an issue with that? It puts pressure on these 2 reds. But this red would still have space to go grab this blue, and this red would still be able to grab this blue. But the issue with that is that these 2 would have to be in the same region. So I think it means this can't belong to that. Because the only way it can pick it up is by going above these 2 blues, because if it goes below them, it cuts them off. So it has to go above them, so it has to go through here at least. And once it goes through there, like we said, we can expand it to the left, it doesn't matter, but the point is that it can't go all the way up because it would cut these off. So then, you know, as we do the puzzle, we get this sort of thing, this sort of thing. And point is that I think it breaks the puzzle, right? Because we know that this red has to grab one of these 2 blues. But the moment it does, whichever one it grabs, it will cut this blue off from the others. So yeah, it's just not possible. So this blue can't grab that red, and it can also not belong to either of these reds. So this has to be oops. It has to be that. Now, what does that tell us? Well, it will have to come out through either this way or this way. But if it comes out this way, it would have to go above the blues and it would cut off this route. No, it wouldn't, because we could go above one of the blues. But then we cut off this red from that. Yeah. So similarly, this red can go down because the moment it does this, to collect that would have to cut something off. Also, wait, there's another thing. This blue. Can it be this red? Or can it be this red? Can this blue be this red? I'm not sure that it can. Because for this to collect that, it would need to... First, it can go down here because it would cut that off. But also... I would have to maneuver very carefully. Hold on. Let's get back to this because I feel like we were getting somewhere. The point is that we said it can't collect through the left, right? So it has to collect from down here. Wait, but that's not possible. It will cut this off. So... Wait. So this has to, like, go outside of this, but not through the left, right? If it, like we said, if it tries to go through the left... Like this... This wants to collect what? Yeah, if this goes through the left, then this cannot collect this. I believe. Or can it? Hold on. No, it cannot. So if this goes through the left, this cannot collect that, so this would have to collect this. And that's not possible. So this has to go through the right. And... this can't grab that. And now, when this connects to this, it will have to cut this blue off from any other red. So it has to be this red, so these have to connect. Okay. And now, that means... What does that mean? This red needs this blue, therefore, because it can't take that blue, which means this is the same color as that. Which means something else here and here. So this will have to go up there somehow. Right, the question is, when this goes to grab what will grab this? It could be this green stuff down here. Can it be anything else? No, it has to be something that goes below this. It can't go above. But this can also technically go below, actually. So what is prevent? Oh wait, hold on. I've been silly. Look, this can't go up. This has to come out. And so we end up with this situation, which means that now the only thing that can grab this is this one, because it can't be this green. It would cut this off. It can't be this blue. So it just has to be red. Red is the only thing that can collect these now. These are both red. And we also know that this is red. And so we have to, this has to weave around this, which means that these are orange. And we also know that this can't go up here, so it has to do this. This is some color that comes out. Forces that this way. Whatever this is, it can't be red or orange. It can be green or blue. It can't be blue, it's cut off from blue, so it has to be green. And it can only connect to the... Wait, I messed up something. What did I mess up? The green cannot connect to itself. Okay, I messed something up. Let's try again. Let's do this, which I missed from the start, because that was a really important thing that I missed. Okay. Oh yeah, this has to come out, so we have this situation. Alright. So, oh yeah, and this can't go there. So we get this situation. And this can't touch that. So this will have to go there, and it will have to pick up both of the other things. So this has to be this. Ah, it's broken again. Oh wait, this didn't have to keep expanding, sorry. Because this can't go there or here. It has to go there. And technically this also wasn't forced to keep expanding either. This has to grab that at least. This still needs a red. It can be either that red or this red, but it can't be this red, so it has to be that red. So that means this blue cannot grab that red, it needs to grab this red, so it has to go this way, it has to keep expanding. So, there we go. Okay. We did it, so 2 more. There are 3 regions. And this is different from both of those, which means this... There are 3 regions. Wait, let me just... So yeah, we know this. So like whatever color this is different and this is different, but these might be the same. Okay, let's ask this question then. The question is, if yellow is different from green, then green has to pick up blue through here. Right? If yellow and green are different, then this will eventually have to make its way to this blue. And then both yellow and red need to get blue through here, so that's not possible, which means that yellow and green are the same. So let's make these blue and make this red. Okay. So those are the same color. There is still one more color left. And if blue grabs this, if the blue area grabs this, then this has to take that, but then this can't connect there. So that means that this can't grab that. So this has to go this way. And this has to go this way. So this eventually has to pick that up. And that means that it has to pick up the rest of this stuff as well. And this can't go up there. So this is some color that has to come out. And it has to pick up this red. It can't go this way. This is some color that comes out and is not the same as this. And is not the same as this either. So it has to keep going. And it has to be this. One more, I guess, is this one, right? There are 4 regions. Okay, so this is some other color from this. Either of these can still be either of these, potentially. This has to pick up a red. It could be this red. Or this. Could it be... I mean, it cannot be this red, though. Because if this picked up this red, this would be cut off. Okay. But can it be any other red on the board? I think it can. Yeah. So then this red is some color. Oh wait, sorry. So this has to eventually come this way because it's cut off from there. Same is not true for this because this can complete the whole region through just this red. Same is true for this green. It doesn't necessarily have to expand this way. Ah, but this red does have to expand up because it can't fulfill itself through here. And now the other thing we can say is that this has to be red. Because if it was some other color, then that other color would go up and this red area cannot pick up a symbol anymore. So these belong to the same. And now the only different color here that has access is purple. And this is some other color. So the purple has to come out. And it could still be this, except no, it can't. If purple tried to pick up this red, it can only do so through green. But if it does so, then no other color has access to this, and it has to be a different color. So this purple cannot go to this symbol, it must go to this symbol. So this area now has to go up, and it cannot go this way. So whatever this is now has to come up, and it cannot be this color, which means that it has to expand in this direction. It's not the same as this, it keeps expanding. This must now pick this up. This now has to go here, and it has to pick this up, and it cannot be the same as this area. And the puzzle seems broken. Why is the puzzle broken? Huh. Weird. Okay, let's try again. So this has to come up. And it's a different color from this. It has to go here. And it must pick this red symbol up. Wait, maybe that was wrong actually. The reason I said it must pick this red symbol up was because I thought that if it doesn't, then whatever this is will block it, but whatever this is doesn't have to expand. So this doesn't actually have to pick this up. That was incorrect, but this must expand in this direction. And so either this grabs that, but if it doesn't, then it has to go all the way out. Now I know that I got an incomplete puzzle when I grabbed it, but that's a very deep bifurcation if I use that logic, so I need to find some more immediate logic. Is there some more immediate logic that tells us that this can't take this symbol? The red area cannot take this symbol? What breaks? Let me just explore that for a moment. So if that happens, then this is a different area, different region. This is a different region. And there are only 4 regions, right? So this blue region either grabs this symbol or this symbol. But it cannot grab that symbol because then this tile has no access. Oh wait, here already the puzzle is broken because this tile has no access to any symbol. Okay. So, and that follows immediately from what? That follows immediately from this being blue, right? Because once this is blue, this has to be a different color. It has to come out. The blue has to come here. And the moment this happens, this tile no longer has access to a red symbol, to a rose. Another thing we can say is that whatever this is cannot belong to either of these 2 roses. So it has to belong to either this rose or this rose. But it can only grab them through this area. And it cannot grab it through there, so it has to go actually through here. Which means that this is just a singleton. Oops. And it also means that whatever this is can only take that, and it cannot go that way. Wait, but how's the puzzle unique? Right now the puzzle is not unique because either color can grab this stuff here. Oh, and also I have too many colors. Well, we know blue and red are different, but blue can be same as yellow, so we'd have to do this. And we also know this can't be blue, so this has to be blue, so this has to be red, so this can't be red. And the puzzle just breaks. Something is wrong again. I don't get it. So these are 2 different colors. And it's clear that this has to go up. And it's clear that this, even if it goes up, it still has to go out to here. Now this, even if it goes in here, still has to go up to here. Okay, this much we know. And we know that if... Oh wait, I was being silly, wasn't I? Hold on. If this is red, then this can still be blue. It's only if this is blue that this becomes a different color. And that's when this breaks. So this can't be blue, so it has to be red. So this can't be red, so red has to come out, and this has to be some other color that is self-contained. Okay, now whatever this is has to grab that. And it can only do so through this passageway. But that cuts blue off. So that's wrong. No, I don't understand. Oh, it has to be blue. Sorry. Okay. It can't be this. So it has to go down, but it has to be blue. There we go. And now all the outer areas have to be either blue or red. So this is blue. This is red. Red needs a symbol. That's blue. So blue has to come out, and then all of this is blue. Okay, there we go. That was tricky. That completes this area, but there's one large puzzle here. Challenge ahead, difficulty 5-6 puzzles are very challenging. They may require careful logic, advanced techniques, and lots of persistence. Early break-in steps may be difficult to spot. These puzzles are optional. Feel free to come back later if you get stuck. So I believe we have 5 symbols because the purple shows up when we have 5 symbols, right? We have red circle, blue square, green diamond, yellow triangle, and purple hexagon. That is 5 symbols. And how many? Let me count the purple hexagons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 regions in this puzzle. Now, looking at this area here, whatever this is, we'll need to go out into the board somewhere. But the same is true for these other ones. And the thing is that there are only 3 passageways leading out of this corner area. And someone has to take the middle passageway. And it cannot be red. So the middle passageway is either blue or yellow. And these yellow triangles have to belong to these 3 colors. But we said there are 2, 4, 6, 7 colors in the board. So these yellow triangles belong to these 3. And again, red cannot grab either of those triangles, I believe, because if red grabs this triangle, then it can only do so by cutting either both of these off by going around them, or by cutting one of these off. So that's not red. Same is true here. Or is it? No, the same is not true here. It's only this one that cannot be red. Can it be blue? Yes, it could be blue. Can it be yellow? Yes, it could be yellow. So it just cannot be red. Okay, so let's say it cannot be red. This is where notes are good. So it's either blue or yellow. And this is also blue or yellow. So let's see, if this is yellow, then that's blue, that's red. And if this is blue, then that's yellow, that's red. Wait, but that's not good, is it? Okay, wait. Let me just clear the notes. The reason we know this cannot be red is because it would cut off. Yeah, so... But if it's blue, the reason it can't be blue is because then red has to go from here, so it wouldn't cut off yellow. But if red goes through there, then blue cannot collect a yellow symbol. Or rather, one of these gets cut off if red tries to go here, through this area here. Because it would have to... Yeah. So this can't be blue, so it has to be yellow because it's not red. And that means that this has to be blue, and this has to be red. So this can't be red. It also cannot be yellow either, I believe. No. Yeah, it cannot be yellow either. It has to be blue. And this could be red or yellow, I think. No, because red has to go here somehow. Wait, the puzzle is broken already. What am I doing? I already messed up. Okay. How does this get out of this area? Something is wrong here. How are all three yellow triangles one of these three colors while also letting those three colors get out? Because the red has to cut something off. Like the red either goes this way and now yellow can't collect one of these triangles, or yellow has to go out this way and then blue can't collect one of those. But like all three of them have to get out because they still need the other symbols. So what am I missing? Oh. No, sorry. I was gonna say two of these are the same color, but that's not possible because they're all the same symbol. So what's happening here? How can this red get out while enabling both of these to pick up two of the other yellow symbols? Like, if blue picks this up, then red has to go out the other way, but then yellow can't pick up any of them. Okay, let me just click R, because... No, I didn't do anything wrong. I drew in the two separators, which must be there. And then once I give this a color, this has to be a different color, but because they both contain the square symbol, this has to be a third color. Because it can't also be yellow. So that much is true. And then we know that they have to get out of this corner because they still need to collect the other symbols into their respective regions. And when they leave this area, these three triangles can only belong to one of these three regions. So, when red leaves somehow, it... Oh, I see now. Blue can grab this, and red can leave from above blue. That's the only way, I believe. Because if yellow... Yeah, so look, yellow, no matter what, yellow has to grab a triangle from down through this tile, because if it tries to do it from through the other tile, it cuts off blue. So we know this must happen. And when this happens, red can't take this, neither can blue. Or rather, if red takes this, it gets cut off by blue. So red doesn't take that, and if blue takes it, then it cuts off red. So this is yellow. And this cannot be red, because if this is red, when red leaves, it cuts off the last one. So this has to be red, and this has to be blue. And now, the only way that's possible is blue has to go through this, and so now red must go through here. Now, blue has to leave, yellow has to leave, picks that up. Okay, there we go. Nice. Now, I wonder if each corner has some similar gameplay. And I think they do, because each corner has... Like, here, for example... No, not all of them, but like this has 3 tile exit. This has 4 tile exit, so this might not have the same. This also has 4 tile exit, I think. But this and this, they both have 3 tile exits, so we can repeat that gameplay. The only thing I'm unsure of is the colors to use, because on the board, like we said, there are 2, 4, 6, 7 colors, and I've only used 3 so far. But here, I have to use 3 different colors from these. So we've used red, blue, yellow, so let's use green, orange, purple. So the same logic, I believe, is applicable here, because well, this is directly on the exit tile. Does that change anything? I don't think it does. Like in these 3 tiles here, 2 of them get used up by these symbols, and this has to use the 3rd, and they all have to be different. And now we have painted 6, and this is the final color. Let's use teal or something. Now here, teal can't enter this corner, and it also cannot enter this corner. So teal has to grab this green, and it also needs a blue. That's, oh, but it can grab blue from up there. It's just the green and the, yeah, because it cannot, no, but it could enter here, sorry. What am I saying? Teal. It could be one of those colors. It just can't be one of these colors or one of these. Because yellow is the only thing that's common between these two corners. Okay. Alright, so this cannot be purple, I believe, because then something would get cut off. Wait. Hold on, I'm again not seeing how this is possible. Oh, this can be purple. That's the only one that can be purple. If this is purple... yeah, so that's purple. So then that can be green or orange. No, wait. How does green leave? Oh my god, I'm so confused. So green leaves through one of these corners, orange leaves through the other corner, but then how do the greens get picked up? The green diamonds. Why is this so hard to see? It should be immediately obvious because like there's only 3 paths leading out and purple already takes one of them. If green takes this path, then purple can't pick up a diamond. The main question is, how does purple pick up a diamond? Like, my instinct tells me this has to be purple, but if it is, then green... Oh, sorry, okay. It does work. And that's the only thing that works, because then green can pick up that and orange can pick up the other. If this tries to be green, then purple can't pick up any diamond, so this cannot be green. Okay. So this has to be orange. And this has to be green. And so then purple has to go through this direction. Orange now has to go this way. Purple, up, orange. That has to be green, so orange cannot touch it. So we get this sort of situation. Okay, there we go. All right. So here there's one more thing. This time we have to repeat some colors, but it's unclear yet which. Well, wait, no, we do know that they're not one of these colors, so they're out of these 4 colors. So let's just use for now red, blue, green in some order. Doesn't matter. Just maybe a different shade. Or sorry, red, blue, yellow I meant. Okay. So again, they have to come out, and I think blue obviously has to take this, because wait, if yellow takes that, yeah, then blue is forced to go down there and pick up 2 purples, so yellow cannot take this, and pink, yeah, clearly yellow has to go through here. So this has to go here, and this has to grab that, go there, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and then these could technically be the same color, we don't know yet, but we know that these are not. Okay. So now what? Why do they give us some... Oh, I drew those in, never mind. I was gonna say, why do we have these useless givens? But no, I drew those in. Okay, so what else do we know? Oh wait, this is also a thing here. Red, purple. So the other thing is that here we have 3. Here we have 4 possible paths out. Is there an issue with us connecting these 3 squares with these 3 circles? If they're all in the same group, that might break the puzzle. And same might be true here. These ones are forced to be in the same group. Okay, so what we know so far is that these 3 colors are not the same as these 3 colors. And these 3 colors are not the same as these 3 colors, which means that because there are only 7 colors in the board, at least 2 of these are the same as these. At most, 1 of these can be different from these 3. And that means that they have to connect. 2 of them at least have to connect. And we also know some other things. For example... Or do we? Wait, hold on. I was gonna say this can't be yellow or blue, but maybe that's not true. Because maybe it can connect from far away while enabling the other colors to... But because at least 2 of them have to connect... Yeah, hold on, sorry. If this yellow connects to this yellow, then obviously neither red nor blue can connect to either of these red or blues. So we know these 2 yellows do not connect. But if the blue connects to the yellow, then this yellow can still connect to one of those, while this red figures stuff out. But for that to happen, this blue needs to take a far enough path to enable this red to collect. Well, it can, we know it's different from these. And so if this blue connects to this yellow, this red cannot collect any of these greens, so it has to collect that green. So the question is, can this blue connect to this yellow while enabling this red to collect this green symbol, as well as what else is missing? The purple symbol, red symbol. Yeah. Red circle, purple hexagon, and green diamond are what this red region would need to pick up, while blue takes a large enough detour to enable it to do so. And it would have to specifically be this green diamond, which means this would have to grab that green diamond, and this has to go around it to connect to this. Is that possible? I mean, I think this would also have to pick this up as well. And so then this would have to go around them. But by going around them, I believe it cuts this purple off from expanding into the board. So I think I want to make the claim that neither yellow nor blue can connect to this yellow. So the final question is, can the red connect to this yellow? Because if the red does not connect to this yellow, then these two, this light blue and this pink, have to connect to any two of these three. But can they do so while this tries to I guess grab this green? No, not this green. It has to grab what? It has to grab this yellow, specifically, if it doesn't connect to any of these colors. Or no, but it could connect to... No, it's also different from those. Yeah, so if this is... If this is different from all three, we already know it's different. I believe we already know it's different from blue and yellow. If it's also different from red, then it has to specifically be teal. And if it is teal, then what we know about teal is that it's the one color that's different from these three and these three. And if it's actually this one, then it also needs to pick up a circle, a square, and a hexagon. No, a circle and a square, sorry. So if it does so, then the puzzle breaks because there's not enough room for these to expand. But what if it picks up one of these circles instead? Ah, well, hold on. The puzzle would already break because this would have no room to expand. Yeah, so here is the easiest way of seeing it. If red is different from this, then this is forced to happen. So all this would be forced to happen. So this would have to be teal. And now, how can these two connect to any of these three, is the question now. Is there even room for that? Like, we will try to connect red to pink and blue to blue. But first, this still needs to pick up one of these red circles or one of those. It cannot pick any of these up because then there's no room for... Or maybe... No, it can't. So I have to pick up one of these. But it has to leave room for these two to go around it, but there's no room for that. So yeah, it just doesn't work. So I believe... So the question I asked is, can this yellow not connect to this red? If it does not connect to that red, then these two have to connect to any of these three, but because of the cascade that happens, I believe these have to be the same color. Let's just double check again. If these are different, then this expands, expand, 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 expand. And at this point, this can't pick up any of these red circles because doing so would cut these off from these regions. So it would have to pick up one of those red circles, but the way it needs to do so is while letting these go around it. But if they try to go around it through this area, there's only 4 spaces and we would need 5. So that doesn't work. Okay. So let's go back. And we have proved that red must... when we try to say that, is it possible for red to not connect to this? The answer was no, so the red must connect to that. Okay, so that's 1 out of the minimum 2 of these colors that have to connect to these. There's still 1 more. And the question I want to ask is, can pink connect to yellow? If pink wants to connect to yellow, then this blue region first needs to find a circle, a diamond, and a hexagon. And it cannot be this region. So then it cannot be these. So it must be this diamond. So if this picks up that diamond, how can this connect to that? We'll have to go around it. But if it goes around it, then this has to pick up this diamond, and then this has to go around it, and then... Yeah, and then this gets cut off. So I believe the answer is that pink cannot connect to yellow. Can pink connect to blue? Probably the answer is yes. But if it wants to do so first, red would need to still collect a circle, which it can collect it here easily. And then blue region can go around it to connect to pink. And that seems fine. But there's one more question. Can pink connect to neither of them? If pink connects to neither of them, then light blue must connect to one of them. And also, let's not forget that this red region still actually needs the circle anyway. It will probably have to be this circle, because if it's not this circle, then this red region needs to either go up there or down here, but doing so probably blocks other stuff. So, hang on, the question I'm asking is, what if this doesn't connect to either of those? Then how can this connect to one of these? Well, the easier one to connect it to is probably blue. But if it connects to blue, then the inner area has to satisfy pink and red. But one of pink or red needs to go out into this for a circle out here. So this would have to like somehow go around all that. Is that possible? It might be, but is it? Like, what if it goes up like that, and then these two are pink and red or something? I'm not sure that that's doable. Though technically there is enough room for that. Like, there is enough room for 3 colors here. There's technically enough room for 4, but 4 colors don't need to enter here. There's 1 color that can enter and make a loop. The other thing is that any color in here that does not belong to this corner or this corner is specifically teal. And we know that... Do we know that at least one of them has to be that way? We don't, I think. The thing is that this pink and this light blue is either dark blue, yellow, or teal. It's one of those 3 options. And we know pink can't be yellow. So pink can be blue or teal. And it cannot be both. So... And the same is true for this light blue. Maybe we should look at light blue. Can light blue be dark blue? Or does it have to... or yellow or teal? If it's dark blue, then... then pink has to be teal. And then this still needs to pick up a circle. It can't be that circle because red also needs a circle. Pink also needs a circle, so both red and pink need a circle. Wait, what did I say? Yeah, so pink is teal in that case. And let's say red grabs that circle, so then this would need some circle up here. This has to go around it and connect to blue. And then... it... oh yeah. There are squares in here, so what we can say is that because there are squares in here, and that most 4 colors can enter, but probably 3 will, the 3 colors that enter have to pick up the squares as well as the circles, which means that they have to be regions that don't have squares and circles in them. So the colors that enter here actually cannot be red, blue, or yellow. Which means that whatever I'm saying about picking up a red circle through this to make a detour to connect to these is not true. So where does that leave us? Right, so so let's just look at it differently. Let's ask, what color are these blue squares in here? Well, they're not red, blue, or yellow. So they're green, orange, purple, or teal. And in that case, 3 out of these 4 tiles at least are green, orange, purple, teal. And if that's the case, then none of... And we also know that light blue, pink are not green, orange, purple, and red, blue, yellow are also not, which means that none of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors over here, none of them can both enter and exit this area to do a detour. Which means that if any detour is necessary, it must happen through this corner instead. But these 3 colors can't do that here because of the purple, because of the hexagons. Yeah, because the same way as we could say about the squares are forced to be these colors, the hexagons are forced to not be these 3. Though these 2 are still floating colors because they're not finalized. So the red circles are the symbols with the least information right now. Okay, but if these 3 colors enter up here, then, well, they still need hexagons, right? So where can they get their hexagons from? Because the thing is that if 3 of these colors enter up here, then sorry, is it 3 or 2? It's not these, but it could be this. No, sorry, at least 2 of these enter up here, right? Was that what I said earlier? I'm not sure what I said earlier, but at least 2 have to enter up there, because the teal could enter as well as the 3rd. So at least 2 of these enter up here. And then they also need hexagons, and they can get 1 from the board. They cannot get any from here, so they can get 1 from the board and 1 from this corner, which means that at least 1 of these has to enter down here. Or no, sorry. No, at least 2. Because they can't get these hexagons, so these 3 have to get 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 out of these 4 hexagons belong to these 3 colors here. And because these 3 blues cannot belong to any of these 3 regions. But wait, can they belong to 1, 2? No, because 1 of these is the same as 1 of these. And neither of these is the same as any of these 3. Which means that... What does that mean? It means that... Kind of lost my train of thought. 4 hexagons. 3 of them belong to this. And the fourth does not belong to these. So the fourth belongs to this, or this. Teal, blue, yellow. Teal, blue, yellow is the fourth hexagon. So, yeah. What about these? Okay, so 4 of those hexagons belong to these 3, or sorry, 3 of the 4 hexagons belongs to green, orange, purple regions, and the same is true of the 4 squares. 3 of them belong to them as well. Which means at least 2 entered this area, and at least 2 entered this area. And I just wonder that when they enter that area, do they also have to pick up a circle from that area when that happens? Or is it possible for them to, like, pick up a circle from the other area instead? Well, the other thing is that, like the edge, so green and orange are on the edge, right? They cannot enter both. Neither of them can enter both, I believe, because if green tried to enter down here and up here, then it would just cut everything off, I think, no? Is that true? Or let me ask it a different way. Can green even enter down here at all? Like, can green grab any of these? Yeah, let me put it this way. What hexagon can green get? We know it's not any of these 3 because they already have diamonds in them, which green already has, so green has to at least grab this hexagon, but can it grab one of these 3 hexagons? Well, if it tries to do that, it cannot do so through here, because then neither of these can get out. But do they need to get out? Let me see. So if this green tries to get a hexagon from this corner, then purple and orange need... Well, we know they need at least one of those blue squares, so at least one of them needs to be able to go around green, but technically not both need to. So could purple grab this central stuff, and can green go around it to grab one of those hexagons? I think we run into the same issue as we did with these colors. And I think the answer is probably no, because this red still needs a circle, and wherever it goes to grab one, green gets cut off. So I would like to say that green can't go through there. Can it go through here though? To grab a hexagon somehow? Like this or something? So if it does that sort of thing somehow, yeah, like it just doesn't work because these 2 just can't get squares at all. So I want to claim that green can't pick up any of these hexagons. I want to claim that it has to pick up this hexagon. And similarly, I want to claim it cannot pick up any of those circles. And Therefore, it probably also cannot pick up this circle either. Yeah, because one of these has to go around it, at least. So if this is green, green can easily access this area and then complete itself. And then purple or orange, at least one of them need to go around it. Probably easier for purple to go up there and orange to grab this square, and then orange can grab a circle and a hexagon down here. And purple still needs a hexagon from here, but probably not a circle. So right now I'm guessing that orange will take these two symbols, purple will take this, and then these two, and purple takes like yeah, probably can orange take this square? So I'm thinking orange takes, let me just see. Let me just put a random yellow here. Or sorry, let me just put a random this thing. That's where we know how far to undo. So right now I'm thinking that orange will pick this and this up, and purple will pick this up, and then orange still needs a blue, which could be this blue, and then green could pick these up, and purple can pick this up, and orange is complete. Purple still needs a blue, which can be this. So purple is complete, green is complete. One of these... No, teal could be this. But still, even if this works out, who's to say it has to be like that and there isn't some other logical approach? And this is all just a guess. This is tricky. Alright, let's just work on this area here for a little bit. So we know these three are different, and we know that this has to get out somehow. But the problem is that kind of anything is possible. Well, we know that this has to get out through one of these two tiles, but it could be either or both. So that doesn't help us. But do we know that this can't go here? I think we do know that. Because if this went here... No, that's still fine. Yeah, anything is possible here. There's probably not even a point in coloring them in. What about here? All we know is that they're not these three colors. Just in general, like, how do they get out? Again, like, I think anything is possible. So that doesn't help. So what helps? So we know two of these are picked up by these. And that means that... Wait, I just realized something. There are only 3 entrances here. Oh, hold on. There are only 3 entrances. Okay, that's... I made a mistake. For some reason, I thought there are 4 entrance exits, but there are only 3, which means that it is worth coloring these in. Because now we can ask, these 3 belong to what? Well, because there are only 3 entrance exits, these circles have to belong to these colors, and I believe we can make the claim that this blue cannot pick up this circle. If this blue region picks up this circle, then something gets cut off from exiting. So, and it cannot be this, so it must be this in some way. But whatever way that is, can someone else exit here? No. Nobody else can exit there, so it has to be this. Which means that this cannot exit through here anymore, so it has to go this way. And it cannot pick that up, so this has to. And this has to be able to exit. Okay. This can still be picked up by either of them. Alright, so now 2 of these have to connect to, specifically to purple and orange. And one of them has to connect to blue and yellow. Okay. Can this connect to purple? No, because then this... wait. Can it? I don't think so. I think this just has to connect to orange, no? But earlier, didn't I say that I thought orange would collect some other thing? I really hope I didn't make a mistake already somewhere. Though everything should have been logical, but I don't know. I'm just concerned if I made a logical error. So can it connect to purple? Like, it would need to make such a big detour for orange to be able to pick up what? No, sorry. Orange and purple have to pick up 2 of these. If this connects to purple, orange can never pick up the other. So this can only connect to orange. So this is orange. Okay. If that's orange, purple can pick up one of these 2, and can it be this one? Can purple pick up the yellowish one? If purple picks up the yellowish one, then this bluish would probably... Well, we know it has to be either blue or yellow, no? Because... Or could it be teal? I think it could be teal as well. Ah, but wait, if it's teal, then purple can't make the detour. Yeah, I think purple just cannot grab the yellowish, so purple has to grab this. Okay. And here's the thing now. Orange still needs blue. I don't think orange can make its way up there. Because if it tries to, it will cut purple off from something, I think. Yeah, it will cut purple off from... Because, like, they would have to avoid this diamond somehow, but only one of them can avoid it. So, I believe that means that orange must grab this square. And if orange grabs that square, it means that purple has to make a detour around it. But purple cannot make a detour around green, I believe. Yeah, so purple will have to go through this area here, I believe. Which means orange has to go through here. And purple still needs to go through here as well. Orange goes like that. Purple like this, which means that's not purple, so that's whatever this is. Okay, purple still needs a blue square somewhere. And it probably has to be this blue square. And it cannot pick up a circle. So this circle has to somehow get out. And I'm thinking this will probably end up being yellow. And then teal has to be one of these 2 colors. And the other color is one of these 2. This still needs a diamond, and it cannot be these 3. So it's either that or one of those. Can this still connect to one of those without cutting everything else off? I don't think so, because still all 3 of these, or all 5 of them, so to speak, need a circle. So if this tried to avoid this region... Yeah, because if this wants to pick up one of these 2 regions, it has to avoid that. But if this avoids that region, what can this region connect to? Not those. Not those either. Although, what if this grabs these? No, that cuts those off. Yeah, I'm not seeing a way for these 2 to avoid each other, and then if they connect, then it has to be this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this will just have to be yellow. So purple still needs to grab a blue square. And yellow is here. So purple cannot go up through this area, so it has to go up through this area. And that means that green has to be like this. Because green still needs a circle and a square. Now, purple cannot take... I think purple can only take this square. If it tries to take any other square, the puzzle breaks. So that's that. And then green... I don't think green can skip this circle. Yeah, because then this circle cannot get out. And so then this is not purple or green, so it's some other color that has to get out, and it can't get out from here. So it has to get out from the other way. Which means this is green. So now these three colors are complete after they connect here. Yellow is complete. So we have 2 reds and a blue. The blue is not one of these, so the blue is teal. So this is the same as this. This we're not sure yet. And teal is one of these. Okay, let's look at this blue. Because this blue still needs everything. It still needs to connect to one of these. And it needs... So it could grab this circle. And then teal can just connect to one of these and get its circle from in here. Like, that could be teal. Maybe even it has to be teal? No, wait. Because if purple will enter through here, 2 colors can still enter here, but one of them can grab a circle. Well, it could be teal, and then this other one is this. So if pink is teal... No, but then blue can't... Blue, I think blue just has to be pink by now. If blue tries to be light blue, making teal pink, there's just not enough space. Yeah, I think blue just has to grab this circle and be done. Oh, wait, sorry. Red and blue both still need a circle. So red grabs this, blue this, goes in, grabs that. Yeah, I think that works. Let me just explain what I'm seeing. Sorry. I wanted to do this so we can undo to that point. So what I'm seeing is that Yellow just does this. And red just grabs this. This goes in for this circle. This completes itself. And this does this. And this does this. And that is the solution. That's a tough one. I feel like I followed logical steps throughout. It's just this final part that I used the quick pattern recognition to see that how things have to connect, but I think it was quite forced by that point. But yeah, that was quite a nice puzzle. I really liked how each corner area had its own mini logic, and then you have to make deductions of which regions across different corners have to be the same or different colors. Quite nice. Awesome. And so that's this half of the thing complete, I believe. And I think I'll end it there for now. Next time we can go down this double path here, do this region or this area. And then after that's done, I guess that's when we continue here. And that has this area and this little area, and then we continue forward. And then what happens? Then there's this like little village here with this eastern side, some central area, then there's this windmill area here. And then things continue onward. But yeah, really cool. I will finish it up there for now. How far along are we now? 54 solved. Nice. So I just have to remember it's not the first one, it's the second save. What is this light here? Wait, there's a puzzle there. Look. Difficulty 5 hidden. But what does it belong? Oh, wait. This didn't contribute. Oh, +1. Look at that. 33 + 1. Okay, so the hidden puzzles are... Is this completed? It is. So the hidden puzzle... Oh, and look, there's another one there as well. Well, I'm done for now, so we can do those next time. I just have to remember that they're there. But thankfully this ray of light kind of revealed it. Is there something here? No. Okay. Nice, so there are actually... Look, these ones have really large rays of light. I guess that one does as well, but it's similar to the natural sunlight. I wonder if it's always rays of light that will end up revealing them, or if sometimes you actually have to really look around to find them. I guess we will see eventually. Anyway, very nice. Let's continue next time. Thank you for watching. Take care.